Unveiling the Shadow of ISIS, a criminal investigation into a global terror. What drives a group to commit unspeakable acts of violence in the name of ideology? How does an organization born in the chaos of war transform into a global threat, inspiring fear from Iraq's deserts to the streets of Western cities? And why, despite losing its territorial grip, does the Islamic State of Iraq and Ash-Sham, ISIS, continue to haunt the world's security forces? As a criminal investigator and investigative journalist, I've spent years tracking the rise and evolution of ISIS, a group designated as a foreign terrorist organization, FTO, by the U.S. State Department on December 17, 2004, initially under the name al-Qaeda in Iraq, AQI. What began as a regional insurgency has metastasized into a global jihadist movement, one that's left a trail of blood, fear, and unanswered questions. This is the story of ISIS, its origins, its brutal tactics, its global impact, and the lingering threat it poses today. Buckle up, because this journey into the heart of terror will leave you questioning how the world confronts such a relentless enemy. The genesis from chaos to caliphate. The story of ISIS begins in 1999 when Jordanian Salafi jihadist Abu Musab al-Zarqawi founded Jamaat al-Tawhid wal-Jihad, JTJ, in Afghanistan. Zarqawi, a radicalized militant with a criminal past, saw opportunity in the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003. Relocating to Iraq, his group waged a brutal campaign against coalition forces, Iraqi civilians, and Shiite communities, aiming to spark sectarian chaos. In October 2004, Zarqawi pledged allegiance to Osama bin Laden, rebranding JTJ as al-Qaeda in Iraq, AQI. By 2006, Zarqawi's savage tactics, beheadings, suicide bombings, and attacks on Shiite mosques had made AQI infamous. A U.S. airstrike killed him that year, but the group didn't falter. Under new leadership, AQI merged with smaller Sunni militant groups to form the Islamic State of Iraq, ISI, in October 2006, led by Abu Omar al-Baghdadi. The group's ambition grew. No longer just an insurgency, ISI aimed to establish a Sunni Islamic state governed by strict Sharia law. The turning point came in 2010 when Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, a former U.S. detainee with a shadowy past, took the helm after Abu Omar's death. Baghdadi capitalized on the power vacuum left by the U.S. withdrawal from Iraq in 2011 and the escalating Syrian civil war. In April 2013, ISI expanded into Syria, becoming the Islamic State of Iraq and Ash-Sham, ISIS, with Ash-Sham referring to the Levant region. Baghdadi's vision was audacious, a caliphate, a unified Islamic state under his rule as self-proclaimed caliph. The rise, a reign of terror. ISIS's meteoric rise in 2014 shocked the world. In June, the group launched a lightning offensive, capturing Mosul, Iraq's second-largest city, and Tikrit, killing hundreds, including 600 Shiite prisoners at Badouche prison. By June 29, 2014, Baghdadi declared a worldwide caliphate, renaming the group simply the Islamic State, IS. At its peak, ISIS controlled roughly a third of Syria and 40% of Iraq, an area the size of Britain, with Raqqa as its de facto capital. The group's tactics were as calculated as they were barbaric. Public beheadings, mass executions, crucifixions, and enslavement of minorities like the Yazidis in August 2014 drew global condemnation. In Sinjar, Iraq, ISIS killed hundreds of Yazidi men, sold women into slavery, and forced tens of thousands to flee. These acts, often videotaped and shared online, were not just violence but propaganda designed to terrorize enemies and attract recruits. ISIS's social media savvy set it apart. Through its English-language magazine Dabak and slickly produced videos, the group recruited thousands of foreign fighters from over 80 countries, including Western nations. By 2015, an estimated 20,000 foreign fighters had joined, lured by the apocalyptic promise of a final battle. The group's financial ingenuity was equally staggering. Extortion, oil sales from captured fields, and kidnapping ransoms funded its operations, with estimates of $1.2 billion in revenue at its height. The fall, a caliphate in ruins. The tide turned in 2016 as a U.S.-led coalition, alongside Iraqi forces, Kurdish Peshmerga, and Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, launched a relentless campaign. By December 2017, ISIS had lost 95% of its territory, including Mosul and Raqqa. The final blow came in March 2019 when SDF forces captured Baghouz, ISIS's last stronghold in Syria. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was killed in a U.S. raid in October 2019, a significant but not fatal blow. Yet defeat on the battlefield didn't end the threat. ISIS transitioned to a decentralized insurgency operating through sleeper cells in Iraq and Syria. By 2024, the group was estimated to retain up to 3,000 fighters in these regions, with another 6,000 in Afghanistan under ISIS-K. Recent reports indicate a resurgence in Syria, exploiting instability after the fall of Bashar al-Assad's government in December 2024. In Africa, ISIS affiliates in the Sahel and West Africa have grown, with 2,000, 3,000 fighters in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, displacing thousands through attacks like the January 2019 raid in Nigeria. The why, ideology, and opportunity. Why did ISIS emerge, and why does it persist? At its core, ISIS is driven by a Salafi jihadist ideology that views Shiite Muslims, other sects, and non-Muslims as apostates deserving death. The group exploits sectarian divides, particularly Sunni grievances against Shiite-dominated governments in Iraq and Syria. The 2003 U.S. invasion of Iraq and the Syrian civil war created fertile ground for recruitment as marginalized Sunnis rallied against perceived oppression. ISIS's apocalyptic vision also fuels its appeal. The group believes it's ushering in a final battle, a narrative that resonates with disenfranchised youth worldwide. Its propaganda paints the caliphate as a utopian return to pure Islam, a message amplified by social media. Political instability, weak governance, and Western interventions have sustained ISIS's ability to regroup even after territorial losses. The investigation continues. What's next? As an investigator, I've seen the evidence. ISIS is far from defeated. Its affiliates in Africa and Afghanistan are growing bolder, and Syria's recent turmoil offers new opportunities for resurgence. The group's ability to inspire lone wolf attacks remains a persistent threat to global security. In 2024, UN reports noted heightened concerns about ISIS's coordination in West Africa and upticks in activity in Iraq and Syria. But questions linger. How will the fall of Assad's regime reshape ISIS's strategy in Syria? Can the US-led coalition and local forces contain the group's resurgence in Africa? And what role do foreign fighters still held in SDF camps play in ISIS's future? These are the threads we'll unravel in our next video, diving deeper into the global fight against ISIS and the shadowy networks keeping it alive. If you're as gripped by this investigation as I am, hit that subscribe button and join us as we expose the next chapter of this global threat. Your support keeps us digging for the truth. What do you think ISIS's next move will be? Drop your thoughts below and let's keep the conversation going.